Welcome to the Upside Podcast, powered by Upside Global and hosted by Julian Blinn, founder and CEO of Upside Global. The Upside Podcast is listened to weekly by over 6,000 sports and tech executives from all sports leagues and teams in the United States and around the world. Julian has been developing technologies for professional sports teams for over 10 years and has worked for major tech companies along with sports tech startups. In each episode, Julian interviews global leaders in sports to share knowledge on emerging technology in the sports industry and how these technologies can help improve the performance of individuals and organizations, both on and off the playing field. And now here's your host, Julian Blinn.
So today we have the honor of interviewing Matt Eller, the CEO of Aris Training, a leading platform in sports technology. So Matt, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Julian.
It's great to have you on the show. So hey, could you start by telling me about your background and who you are?
Yeah, of course. So Matt Eller, CEO of Aris, like you said, I'm a former basketball player, college basketball player at Leeds McRae College. Studied international business. After so many years in basketball, I was like, you know what, I'm looking forward to a break. Had a chance to do some corporate sales within the food industry, grew pretty fast. Enjoyed it, but knew it wasn't what I wanted to do forever. And being young, I thought, hey, this is my time to get back into my passion. And so started really studying the performance, getting into data analytics, and it kind of put me on a trajectory here in this industry that I'm really excited about.
And how did you come up? Was it your idea to build a company, or how did you decide I'm going to build this product? How was the genesis of that, I guess?
Yeah, so I have a business partner. His name's Sam Wazan. Immigrant from Lebanon, played on the national team, very bright guy, very math oriented. And, we have some common interests when it came to performance, and, we saw some opportunities that we just couldn't really miss. For me, when I was getting recruited in college or in high school to college, I was a 6'4" shooting guard. Pretty much everybody told me, hey, you're not big enough to guard the guys that are 6'7". You're not quick enough to guard the guys 6'1". And I'm thinking to myself, man, I can put my elbow in the rim. What do you mean I'm not athletic enough or I'm not quick enough? And I didn't really know where those problems were. And even growing up in a major metropolitan city like Charlotte, there wasn't any coaches. There weren't any options for me to go and test and understand my performance. And granted, I'm 34 years old. We've come a long way in 15 years. But it really just kind of opened my eyes to saying, hey, everybody's got an elite athlete inside of them. They just need the right process to really get them there. And so once I became a trainer, got to work with a lot of great athletes, specifically in the basketball realm, ended up opening up a facility and really got to see this business from the bottom up. And as you can imagine, it's a lot of manual effort. It's a lot of work to do data analytics training for every athlete that comes through your facility. And we thought, man, there's got to be a better way to scale this, grow this, and automate this so that our athletes aren't sacrificing any of the personal attention, but it's really helping us as coaches, as trainers, and facility owners to grow and scale the business.
So would you say you're a practitioner yourself, or?
I wouldn't qualify myself as a practitioner. Focus mostly on the athlete performance and the data analytics. So I definitely don't want to steal their shine because a lot of those guys have a lot more education and experience than I do.
That's great. So how would you describe your product? What does it do? How does it work?
Yeah, of course. So like I said, it's a platform, and I know that's a vague term that everybody seems to coin nowadays, but we really look at it as a place where, athletes, coaches, and innovators can collaborate. And at the center of the ecosystem is Aris Pro. It's our digital resistance trainer. It's got 100 pounds of constant resistance. So you have whatever resistance you program for the entire motion, whether it's 25 yards or 12 inches, you're starting to get that throughout the entire motion. Everything's operated through Aris app, so it gives you the ability to command training sessions, capture data, and all of that's automated so that you can really spend your time focusing on the athlete, the coaching, some of the technical aspects of maybe the drill or the motion without sacrificing the data. And we've seen a lot of great improvements, specifically in acceleration and athletes reaching peak power faster based on our resistance method. But like I said, it's built in with a complete athlete management system. So all things speed, change of direction, power output is easily managed on the platform by team, by organization, by athlete, by sport, and have the ability to run any custom reports or manage training how you see fit.
So you're saying you build actually an AMS platform into the software itself?
Correct. Yeah. Just to make it a little easier, I think
That's your
that,
background, right? Analytics and all that stuff, right? I suppose.
exactly right. So, understanding where we can, provide value with such a niche process with the athletic development of just their speed, their power, their change of direction. We understand that there's a much bigger landscape, and we try to make it as easy as possible for them to focus on these.
So now, what would you say is your competitive advantage? Look, there's a lot of, I don't like to call them resistance training modalities, right?
Right.
Whatever category you fit in, but what is your competitive advantage today?
Yeah, sure. Well, it's one tool, right? So you don't need speed gates and a sled and all these other things with it. It's one tool. So every motion is also testing, not just training.
Yeah.
What we've really tried to do is build out some of the features to it to support the athlete and the coaches. So for instance, we have audio signals instead of like placing cones out. It gives you the exact distance. You'll hear a beep when you cover 10 meters, 20 meters. As well as assisted deceleration. So we have safety zones that are built in. So when the athlete finishes their rep, they're not going to, burst through with the resistance line. So we've built it to where it's really easy to function. And I think that that's really where we've separated ourselves within the market is how can we simplify and amplify a lot of these processes. So it's for the coach, it's for the athlete, and it's giving them just a smooth training session.
Now, what do you think are the benefits, right, for team? Because we have a lot of teams listening to this podcast, all the NBA, NFL, MLS, MLB, NHL teams, right? Lots of NCAA teams. So what do you think are the benefits if you had to summarize, of your product?
Yeah, of course. So we've got a few different services. The first is Coach Sync, which, like I said, is linked to the athlete management system and gives them a total view of everything with athletic training. One of the things that we really do is focus on the training process, not just use it as a testing tool, right? So athletes or coaches can go in, they can create a specific workout for an athlete. They can go out and execute the workout. Coaches can come back, they can look at the data, and then they can make those adjustments on their own time. So really the ability to be in many places at once, I think goes a long way. We see a lot of athletes and coaches and organizations use it for activation before games, testing and return to sport. So if you have this data on where their peak performance is, it's much easier to formulate a plan to get back to it once they're coming back from a knee injury or something a little bit more catastrophic than that. So again, the ability to have these touch points with the athletes, the ability for them to use it on multiple different fronts. We have specific processes and accessories for vertical jump, for change of direction, for linear speed. So it's a really versatile platform with their capabilities that we've got that make it easy to integrate into any organization.
That's great. So where do you guys see the most traction right now? And, maybe some specific leagues or type of sports. Are you allowed to share some information on that?
Yeah. Right now we've done a lot in the private sector. Again, the ability for, coaches and organizations to, offer premium products has definitely been an initial market introduction for us. Where we're really starting to see the traction with, specific sports and teams is one, football. With the amount of resistance in the resistance method we have, we're capable of handling those 250, 300 pound guys that generate so much force. And so again, a lot of people, a lot of products have had trouble with that, and so we pride ourselves on being able to handle the top athletes. But second off, again, basketball, right? There's a ton of lower body strength and vertical jump training that I think people are really in the need for, but they want data on it. And it's really hard to find that accurately and transparent with some of the other things on the market. So really starting to see it bust through with basketball.
That's great. So what is your take on going back to the resistance training market? What is your take? What do you think what's the stage today? Where do you think it's going to go in the future?
Well, I think right now it's fairly complicated and fragmented. There's a lot of data that comes from it, and it's all great. There's a place for everything. There's some very sophisticated products out there that are great for the industry. I think that 80% of the coaches and organizations are really looking for, 4 or 5 key data points that they can take back and that they can work back from and showcase with it. So when we talk about, it being complicated, it being fragmented, it's tough to, integrate into other systems. It's difficult for setup. It's a lot of issues that I think we're starting to work through, because it is such a key component to, sports performance. Everybody needs data on sprinting. Everybody needs data on power output or change of direction. And I think as we see it grow, it's really going to start to commercialize and have more access for athletes, because these coaches are hungry for it. We've seen the processes work with the top 1%. And I think it's going to continue to trickle down as, more things evolve and more companies start to innovate.
I think you're right. So, we track, budgets from teams. We know what they use because they tell us, they select the technology that they use in our platform. But I would say resistance training is definitely, I feel like, a top 5 priority. Of course, you got GPS systems,
right,
depending on the sports, right? And you got the cardio monitoring system, you got the AMS platforms, maybe some sleep trackers. But even then right after that, you got resistance training. That's what I see the most, like velocity training as well. Very, very like Gym Aware, Output Sports, and those guys. But resistance training is definitely something that if you don't have that as a team, whether the NBA or an NFL team or NHL, you had a disadvantage. It's even shocking if you don't have anything, right? But most teams have that. They have a resistance training machine, 100%.
Right.
So, right. The question is, as a team, right? I talk to teams regularly. Like, how do you know I'm going to go with those guys versus those guys? That's the challenge, right? Because they all look kind of similar, but you don't really know how they're different, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that it's gotten to a point where, the data is nice to have just to have at some point. And it's really about how can we apply this stuff to what it is that we're trying to do. And so, again, there's a handful of products that are capable of it, but outside of that, it's a lot of makeshift. It's a lot of people that are saying, well, I can kind of simulate this and I can get a reading similar to what I really need here. But at the end of the day, they're going to want one platform that can give them transparent data, provide an ecosystem, and give them a full look at what the organization looks like.
So on that point, like, any team listening to this, like, what is your business model, pricing model? Are you allowed to talk about that?
Yeah, of course. So Aris Pro, we always like to lower the barrier of entry, to get the hardware. So our unit's priced at $5,000 for the hardware. That's Aris Pro. And then we do have a annual reoccurring revenue or, service charge of $1,200 a year for them. So giving them the opportunity, again, lower costs up front. They do pay for the services. We do a great job with support. We do a great job with, being a very agile platform. We like to build out custom features. We like to innovate with our customers, and we always prioritize their feedback and their understanding. So, with that cost support, and we always are trying our best to make sure that they've got all the features and everything that they need.
That's great. So last question, what are your plans for the next 12 months? Is it to launch new products, to raise money, to expand into new leagues, new geographical areas? I mean, what are your plans?
Yeah, so we are currently raising capital for the release of our Gen 2 system, which will be out in 2026. We also have a couple of machine learning and AI modules that are helping with velocity thresholds and personalized training, just to, again, take some of that pressure off coaches based on their model and their philosophies that they use within training. But what we're really excited about is the release of Aris Suite, which includes our Aris Flight vertical jump tester, LiDAR sensors, so it acts more along the lines of a Vertex and force plate. But LiDAR sensors. So allows you to combine a lot faster, integrate into the Aris platform. Same with Aris Speed, the speed gates that we've got. So, you've got all your training data, all your testing data, all centralized in one platform. But not only that, with the digital features that we've got, it allows you to test more athletes faster. It allows them to do it a little bit more self-sufficiently without having to sacrifice, again, time or correction with them.
And anybody wants to reach out to you to learn more, what's the best way to reach out to you?
Yeah, feel free to email me at meller@aristraining.com, or obviously you can call the number on the website, and we'll be happy to support any way we can.
Okay, great. Well, look, we're at the end of the podcast, but I want to thank you for your time today, and good luck with everything.
Thank you, Julian. Appreciate you having me.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you for listening. To access past episodes and other research, articles, and analysis of sports technology, please visit our website, theupside.us. Subscribe to the Upside newsletter and receive full access to our sports tech business letter and website. Royalty-free music is provided by ibaudio.com. The Upside Podcast provides timely insights and interviews with global leaders in sports technology. Until next time, keep looking to the upside.